Hello folks. Before we start the video, let's know about Upptalk. Upptalk is a live, interactive platform for software training that provides strong personalities capable of taking on the world's most widely used business platforms. This tutorial video is about Workday Studio. The Workday Studio is an integrated development environment, IDE, that provides assistance to developers in the process of designing and constructing interfaces. It is constructed on top of an open-source IDE that is based on Eclipse. You are able to construct an assembly with the assistance of this development tool by choosing from a pool of reusable components that contain stages for transport, routing, configuration, and mediation respectively. The topics we will cover in this video are XML content, debug, router. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and check out other videos related to the latest technologies on our Upptalk channel. This video will be covered by Mr. Shravan, who is a certified trainer in Workday Studio, and he will explain to you all of the listed topics. Let's get started.
Some important components, which are let's do this first. Studio. New Workday assembly project. Right, and let me give a name of INT test underscore studio underscore 11. Next, finish. So today okay, so what's the first component which you put on a new studio?
Start.
Where is here start here? There is no start here. If I search start here, there is no start here.
We
Just place the cursor over the assembly area so that it will pop up.
It is called Workday in.
Yes, yes.
There is no component called start here. Start
Yes.
here is the name given, but it is Workday in component.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let me put a swim lane. Let me put it back in this one. Fine. After that, I have an async. Right, and then I have put it here. Let me put a standard put integration message in the end. Finish, that's okay. And in this one, what I want is, let me put a write step. And in the write step, instead of message content, let me put a text, and I am putting here a CSV file. Right, employee ID / name / cost center / location. Then it is 1, 2, 3, comma test, comma CC1, comma location 1. Then 2, 3, 4 test. Say Tom CC2 LOC 2, and then 4, 5, 6 comma Jerry, comma CC3. So this is my input file. Say I am just assuming it like that. I'm just storing it as a comma separated thing. So whatever, now you know, whatever is in the write step becomes the message. So after the write step, your message will have what? It will have this comma separated stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, since it's that, I am using a CSV to XML component. Okay. And CSV to XML, what I'm saying is I use my first line as header because that's the header.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till this point, you are clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Now after this, I am putting, say, a log. And I want to put that here. And I am doing it here. That's fine. Put integration message. Okay. What will be the thing in the log?
XML, a comma separated XML, the data that you have created.
Right. So now you are aware about this part, right? So
Yeah.
let me then deploy it quickly. Since I want to show you the functionality, that's why. But ideally, there should be a send error component here like this one. And then, right? So what I'm doing is I am just running it studio test 11. Click here, go to the start here. Launch integration. Okay, so it is running and it completed. If I double click, so you see here is this, right? You got the
Yeah.
okay, let me copy that. Control C. Okay, done. Let me have somewhere in this test. Control it and control it. So this is the final XML which is coming up after that. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the shortcut of like doing pretty print here?
Control Shift F.
Control Shift F. Okay.
Right. F for format. So it will format it.
Okay.
Okay. Now what I want is I want to split this one. So if you see there are 3 rows, right? One is this employee, second is this employee, third is this employee, right? I want to process them one by one.
Okay.
Yeah. In that case comes the use of a component called a splitter. Right. So splitter will come here and what you will have it. This one now, when you click on the splitter, you see there are different types here, right? You have unzip splitter, you have this one. If you want to know more about it, you just go to the properties view and then click on help. And it will show up what are the different types.
Okay.
Right. So splitter is this. I think, yeah, we have to choose first. So now here you see, this is create subroute. Okay. So splitter, what it does, as the name says, it splits whatever is coming based on something which you will specify.
Condition.
And that we will see, right? And then is the subroute, meaning after splitting, where should it go? Okay. So the arrow will be from the subroute to the next one, whether it is here or anywhere. Yeah.
And we can have multiple subroute as well here.
Correct. Depending on what type of splitter you are using. Okay. So we have XML
How
string
many
splitter.
types of splitter do we have?
So you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. So these are the types.
Right. So you have first one is custom splitter.
Okay.
Then you have standard splitter. Then you have XPath splitter. And then you have XML stream splitter.
Oh,
And 99% of the time we use this. Why?
okay.
Because our input message mostly is an XML,
Yeah.
right? So XML stream splitter is something that you use, right?
Okay.
And in that you have the XPath, right? So this XPath specify how you will split it, right? So the flow will be, it will come here and then sub route will go there. Now, after this is the XPath. So what it should split will be coming from the file. So how do you want to split it? You want every row, right? This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, right?
Yeah.
So what's the XPath for this one?
By row.
Yeah. Root, row,
slash
and
row. That's it. Root slash
Yeah.
row. After the
Okay.
row becomes this part, right?
employee ID, names, and CC.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is your stuff. Now, if you are lazy enough to type root slash row, because that's how it will be, root slash row, right? But say if it's a complex XML, there are so many child and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The best way to do is click on the schema explorer. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
not schema explorer, XPath explorer. Now
Okay.
see the magic. If I click on this part here, employee ID, right? It is giving me this.
Okay, great.
Okay.
If you click on test, it is giving me the XPath for that, right? So this is XPath for
Yeah.
location. CC is XPath for this. Yeah. But since we don't need this CC and all that, we need it for the complete one. So it will be just root slash row. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
So that's what we will specify here in this properties of this splitter. So it will
Okay.
be root slash row. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now what will happen is after this, when you do this, this subroute will give 3 times. Why 3 times? Because our input is 3 rows
Row.
of data, right?
Yeah.
XML has 3 things. So this one will come 3. Now, how to see that is a put integration message will not give us the content, right? So to do that, let's put an async here instead of connecting it directly there. I will connect this subroute to this.
Okay.
To this. In this one, I'll put this log. Yeah. And in this log, to just identify, I am putting a line separator and let me put a text in. And I will say start. And in this one, I will just say end. Yep, just to make sure. Let's see how many start and it is there. So how it will happen is writes this is the file, right? Having 3
Okay.
rows of data. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will convert into XML. XML will have root row and all that like this. Yeah. Then we are splitting it root slash row.
Okay.
After this, what will happen is this component async mediation 0 should execute 3 times. Why? Because this subroute will send 3 messages.
Okay.
Okay.
And
now
we
what
can
happens
also
is,
define how many splitting we want to do. For example, if data is, let's say, 5,000. So can we define that we need 1,000 each in each case?
that is dependent on there is another one, splitter route. That's a router.
Then
So a
what?
splitter will
Yes.
basically
Right. So
split
this,
in individual rows. Even if we have like 800 rows, it will write start here, end here 800 times.
correct. And here, since it's XML, right? It is based on the XPath. So it doesn't have that count stuff here.
Okay.
But if you want such kind of stuff, then you have to use some other kind of splitter. So let's say if I put another splitter here just to check, right? And let's say I have put a custom splitter. So custom splitter means you have to write some Java code here. Spring Bean is some Java stuff.
Okay.
Which I have never used. Then what else do we have? We have standard splitter, right? In standard splitter, you have this line token delimiter and multiple line separator. String use character. This is again some type of splitter. Again, never used, because why this is always used is because our input is always an XML, mostly
XML.
99% of the time. That's why this is a JSON splitter, right? So you give a JSON path and it splits the JSON. Again, not used. Then it's unzip splitter. So if you have a zipped file and you want to split multiple files in that, right? So if you have a zip folder and inside that there are multiple, you use this one. And then you have mtable splitter. What it is mtable name that contains mtable. I have also never used this one. Very rare use case. And then the last one is create a subroute. So it just adds another subroute here.
Okay.
That's it. So main is always you will see XML stream splitter.
Okay.
Right. So how it will do is so our XML will come here.
Okay.
We know there are 3 sub routes. They're meaning 3 root/row is giving you 3 fragments of XML, right? So what will happen? First fragment will come here. It will print.
Okay.
Then the second will come. It will do that processing. Then third will come. So everything will happen like this. This whole will execute 3 times. So meaning if after async you have any other stuff, right? Multiple components, all of them will execute 3 times.
Okay.
Right. And it will be in this fashion. So start here, right? But let's see that. Let's see.
Okay.
Save. And let's deploy. Now let's also see the concept of debug, right? There is a thing called debug, and that is also very useful stuff. So let me show you first. Let's deploy. So it's deployed. So if you see here on this part, if I do a right click, it says launch integration and then debug integration.
Yeah.
Right. So debug integration, what it does is for that you have to put a toggle assembly point, right?
Okay.
Every component has this property of toggle stuff. Let me put a toggle here and put a toggle here. So what it does is these are a breakpoint. Now, when I do a debug, what will happen is integration will run and it will stop at this point.
Checkpoint. Okay.
Checkpoint, right? And it then gives me an option of resuming it. What will happen if I click on resume? It will go to the next checkpoint.
Okay.
Right. And then that way I can see. So if it is this one, there is no launch parameter. I will say just I'll click on debug. Now the look and feel of this will change. Let's see. Let's give it some time. It's launching 100% done. It will, from a normal person, it will become Hulk.
Okay.
It's happening. Now it's getting angry and now it will change. So this is another method of, rather than putting a log everywhere and seeing the log file.
Okay.
You can see how the flow is going, what is the output of that step and all that.
And did you click on console or it opened by itself?
Now, when you click on debug, now if you see here, this kind of launch is configured to open this. So I'll say switch. Now it will open up in a different format, right? So see, everything got changed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you see this green thing, meaning the processing is here now, right now, because we have put a toggle point there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you see here variables on my this side. You have breakpoints and you have expressions, assembly, debug. Here you will get to know what is the output of this, right? After the right step and all that. So now if you see here, this is saying resume. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the top.
Yes.
Resume, or it's wrong. Last, there is another thing which is step over. So if I click on resume, it will start executing and it will go to the next toggle point and it will stop only at that. If there is no toggle point, it will just run and complete. So if you see below here, see this integration is waiting. It's saying active and preparing, right? So the integration has now paused at this step. Now I'll say step over. Now see, when I click on step over, it will move on. Now it has gone to the CSV to XML. But then what's
step?
Right, it's the next step. Yeah, I didn't give, but I did step over rather than clicking on resume. So if I click on resume, it will directly go to splitter.
Okay.
But since I did a step over, now it is going each step by step.
Okay.
Okay, if you click on resume, it will go to the next breakpoint.
Right. Yes.
If you give a step over, it goes to the
next
component.
Next component. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then this is fine. Data is described. Where it is? Where is that? Display. That's fine. Okay. Now let me click on again the next one. So what happened after this? This will convert it into XML. And now you see the message on the right hand side. This is the output of CSV to XML. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I click on next. It goes to splitter. Now I will click on again next. What will happen? It goes to the log. And now you see the output. It is only one fragment. Yeah. Again, I'll click on next. It will go to the second one. Right. So the put integration message execute in the end, because it is for putting the event on that part. So that's why it is.
This is still the first one, right? LOC one.
Yes.
Oh yeah, is it this is the first one. Let me see then. Next, click on next. So it goes to put integration message. Yeah, I was right. Okay. Now again, if I click on next, it will come back to again the splitter. Right. Then next, then now it is the CC2. Right. Then it will again go to the put integration message. And then after that, again, it will come here. Right. And then I will click on next, put integration message. And after this, it will complete. Now it will say, yeah, done. Here it will check whether there is anything, nothing. Over, done. Integration. So if you see here, debug integration completed.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can import the log file and see. So this debug is very helpful, and it will also show you the error if say there is any error, right?
Okay.
Let's do that part. Where is it? Windows perspective, open perspective, show view.
Here on the right side corner, on the top.
This one?
And beside that, Workday.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Because I very rarely use debug. I used to do it in the beginning, but then after that, I never used it. Okay. Now let me show you how the debug will show you error. Okay. So say very common thing is if I don't put a message here, it will give me an error, right? Let me deploy it. So it is deployed. This one, I'll come again here and then debug integration. And I'll say debug. Now what I'll do is I'll not do a step over. I'll do resume.
Okay.
So you see after write, it will go directly to splitter.
Splitter.
But what I hate is it takes time and I don't have that patience. That's why I don't use it much.
Okay.
Normally people, what they do is, but this is the best practice. You should follow this thing. You should use debug. Especially when you don't know where the flow is going, or say if it's an integration which someone else has built, but you are doing some changes and all that on that. So, right. So now it's on the right step, right? So instead of step over, I'll do a resume. Okay, I did the resume and it came directly to splitter, skipping the CSV to XML, right?
Yeah.
Now I will do a step over. Now it came to log, right? Now after this, it will come to put integration message and it will fail. Yeah. And it will fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it failed. So you see there, incompleted with error.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the stuff. Now coming back here. So now you are fine. You now know what's a splitter is and how it works, right? Now let me show you the friend of this is called an aggregator. Okay. Aggregator does just the opposite of it. Aggregator, as the name says, it just aggregates whatever messages are coming. It will wait till everything comes and then it will club it and give you the output. Okay, so okay, so in this one, so first is aggregator, right? And it has this type, custom batch strategy. Then you have what else? You have this one, which is size batch. Then you have time batch. Then you have custom collator. Then you have message content collator. Then you have XML message content collator. You have JSON. Again, zip file. It's just the opposite of that. So first we do a size batch, a size strategy. And then we do a XML content collator, which is just the opposite of that, right? Like this. So these are the three things. Okay, so then now you have to set the properties in the size batch strategy. So if you put your mouse there, the maximum number of messages that a batch message can concatenate, right? Ideally, we put -1 here, which means everything, whatever is coming, that one.
Okay.
Click on help here and see. Batch size is the maximum, whatever you want to give there. Okay, and and then the XML content collator. So this is important, right?
Maximum size to -1. I didn't get that logic.
-1 is, so if you give, say batch size is 100, what it will do is the first 100 message,
yes,
it will collate and send it. But say if you want everything, you cannot give a number, right? 99999 and all that stuff. So -1 says till the time you get all the messages, collate it. That's how it is. To just make sure I have one integration where I have used it. Let me
since you cannot go to -1, it keeps on collating until there.
Yeah, right. EFTH, yeah, this is the integration where I have the aggregator. Yeah, size batch strategy -1. Yeah, and then the XML content collator is okay. In the process monitor, if I open this file, yep. So if you see here, we are getting after the splitter this from row.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't have an XML header, right? To make it a valid XML file, right? A valid XML file has this. It has a parent tag and an ending tag, right? Right now
Okay.
we are having only this. So if we do a collator, it will only create an XML like this. It will not have this root stuff, right?
Okay.
So that's why it has a thing here, like, let me copy. This is the thing which is missing. So here in XML content collator, if you go to the properties, you see the header text. It is something which you put that this will be the header, and then that this will be the footer. Right. So what I'm doing here is, because my splitter is giving me only this part, right? Only this part and only this part, to make sure it becomes one XML, I'm giving this as footer and this one as header. Yeah.
Okay.
Where is that again? And let me do it here. So, and then this goes to put integration. But why put integration message? Let me, in order to see that, let's put in async.
Okay.
Connected to this, connected to this, and here I will put this log again. In this log, instead of start, I will say after aggregator start. Okay, now let's do the stuff again. Let's deploy and run. Do you want to run it normally or do you want to debug? Choose fast. Or how do you want to see it? I think you like debug.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. Debug.
Should we add like toggle point?
Already it's there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Switch. So we are at, I'll do a step over. We came to CSV to XML, and this is how our CSV to XML is. Yeah. After that, I did a splitter. Splitter went to the log, right? After that, it will not go to the aggregator. It will come back.
Okay. First, it will split everything.
Right. So it comes to the aggregator. It gives that first part, and then it will again come back to splitter. Right. Now, see, it is not going to async and all that because we have an aggregator in between. Right. Again, now I will do again this one. This is now the second one. This goes to the aggregator. Fine. Then it comes back. It comes, the third one comes to the aggregator. Done. Now again, it will go to splitter. No, it is done. So it generated that part. Next is done. Then it just, there is our log completed. And it is the aggregator. Oh, there is some error.
Is it like that?
What?
No, you have already fixed that.
Okay, so it completed. Now let me open the file. Let's see what is there in the log. Right, that last log file. So we have the splitter, start and start and start, and after that we have this. Right, that's what I am copy pasting it here to check. Control A, delete, Control B, Control A, Shift F, right? So yeah, so that's why we don't have to give this part. So then if you have to fix it, we will come here in the, let me go back to this mode, show property view, and remove this part. Yeah, now it should be okay. That's it. But you're clear about how splitter and aggregator works,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, now the last component for the day is called Mr. Router. Mr. Route. Okay, so route you have already seen that there was one which was document iterator. If you see here, doc iterator,
Yes.
this is used for if there are multiple files, it is used here somewhere when you get event documents and you have to use multiple and you remove this part, delete. So there is doc iterator is for iterating through multiple input documents. Okay.
Okay.
This is one type of router that is used in the beginning. Fine. Now let's see other types. After that, you have is create subroute. That is fine. This is loop strategy. Right. So router is something. Say, for example, I'll give you an example how we use it. Suppose you have your launch parameters, right? And in the launch parameter is say hire termination. There is a Boolean checkbox, right? So if the employee comes and select hire is checked, then the hire operation should happen in the integration. If it is termination, then the terminate operation should happen, right? So in that case, what you do is you first, after start here, you will have get event documents or say the eval step where you will fetch the launch parameter, right? LP dot get the value of that.
Sean, I didn't get this. Can you come again, please?
Which one? This. So I'm explaining about
Yes.
the router part.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So say there is a requirement where an integration you have created Studio, it has a launch parameter, right? Where say it has a date, right? Just one date. If the user has selected a date, right? Now the logic which you have to implement in the Studio is that if the date is less than 15th of that month, right? The day is less than 15, do a hire. If it's greater than 15, do a termination. Okay. So in that case, what you will do is you will say in start here, you will have, after that, you will have eval. In eval, you will do your, that, right? How to get launch parameter. The syntax props, the name is equal to LP dot get, right? So now your props, which is, let me give it here. Say, for example, we have it here. I will add an expression. Props is equal to LP dot get date. Yeah, that's your input, right? So you will give whatever date you have, right? The name of the launch parameter.
Okay.
And here you will have, say, the date. Right?
Yes.
And now say, instead of the requirement which I said, which was day, again, you have to fetch the day and all that. That will be complicated. Just to keep it simple. If the date is greater than 1/1/2021, do a hire. If it's less than that, do a termination. Okay. So now you have two things, right? One, you will have to call a hire web service. Second, you will have to call a termination web service, right?
Okay.
It can be achieved via route. How? You will come here and you will say, you will put MWell strategy, right? In MWell strategy, you can add two flows here. subroute and click on here, it will say, one second, subroute, and this one will be alternate, right? You can have multiple, just click on here and then add, click here, and you can choose whatever
But like,
name you want.
We have only two here, like subroute and
Right. So where you have to,
alternate.
you have this last one, create a route,
Okay.
the last one, right? So say here,
Okay.
you will put a name. So this is for hire. Click here. This is for termination, right? And put it here. This is for, let me add another one. Yeah. Oh no, this one is not there. So delete. There are three. Now say first one,
Okay.
I will choose this one as hire, this one as termination, and this one is for any other bullshit. Yeah. Now,
Okay.
so what will happen is, again in hire, I have an expression here, condition, right? So this is a condition. Now I have this, my props. I will take that and put it here, that okay, if this is greater than whatever 2021
Yeah.
hyphen 01 hyphen 01.
Okay.
So this is the expression. So if it is true, it will come here, and then I can link it to that higher stuff. Similarly, this one can be to something else. This one can be, right now I'm connecting it to one, but you can have three routes, three things there, local out. You can connect, and then the corresponding stuff will happen. So that's how a route works.
Okay.
Yeah.